So it's like the whole cycle got shifted.
Is the altcoin bull market postponed indefinitely? That's what everyone wants to know. Everyone's super pessimistic, super bearish, super upset about the current price action. And I feel those emotions too. But what I've learned to do is do the opposite of my own emotions when it comes to investing. Because just like at a casino, the house always wins in markets. And the way the house wins is by betting against the herd's emotions. They know people are going to panic sell at the bottom, and they know people are going to chase the tops. That's why people just get whipsawed. They buy high, they sell low. They buy high, they sell low, and it's a vicious cycle. The way to beat the system is to do the opposite of human nature, do the opposite of what you feel like doing. It's worked for me very, very, very well. Just dollar cost average into the ugliest looking charts on the planet, wait for sentiment to flip, and cash out. Or hodl. If you believe in an asset forever, you want to lock it up and earn passive income forever, like I'm doing in ICP, earning passive income. So every single day I earn passive income and I can cash it out and buy whatever I want with it. So I'm actually not too upset because mine's locked forever and mine's paying me every day. So I can buy, again, AI assets. I can buy Chainlink. I can buy Tau. I can buy AERODROME. I can buy whatever I want with that passive income. So I'm being paid to wait and ride out this market. But again, do the opposite of what you feel. And this chart proves it. This shows Bitcoin sentiment. So in the blue bar chart, we see whether Bitcoin's sentiment is positive or negative. And whenever we reach levels like we are right now, super low, it's generally a bottoming in the price. Like market makers take advantage of people's emotions. So when they see that sentiment is at the low, they'll pump the chart. Look what happened back here in April 2025. The price of Bitcoin in orange was at a super bearish point. Obviously, people panicked, sold the lows, got super negative. Guess what happened after that? Bitcoin skyrocketed. Guess what's happening now? The price of Bitcoin is falling. People are starting to panic, sell the lows. So we're entering an unbelievable potential opportunity. Because as negative as you're feeling right now, as negative as I'm feeling right now, the market, the panic sellers are feeling worse and they're acting on it. They're panic selling. So what this chart shows is when sentiment gets stretched, the price of the asset cools off, punishes people for chasing. And when the sentiment gets super bearish, the price of the asset tends to pump. And so dollar cost averaging on red days into the ugliest looking charts of revolutionary assets is the way to go. It's the way to beat the system. Now, the question people are asking is, are we ever going to get an altcoin bull market? Well, Raoul Pal just gave an update on exactly that. Let's dive into what he just said.
Just observationally, I was out in the Middle East, last month, I think it was, and sitting down with like the sovereign wealth funds. And the mandate across the entire region, from Saudi to Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Bahrain to Qatar, is AI and blockchain. Not just using Bitcoin as a reserve asset, but also building the entire government infrastructure on blockchain. Driving licenses, property deeds, the whole bloody lot. So it's it's fascinating to see. And the more blockchain technology gets used, the more it uses the alts for infrastructure rails, for new forms of compute and storage and all the other things that are coming.
So the wealthiest investment funds on the planet, the biggest money in the world, is not worried about price action. They're happy prices are low because they're investing heavily, not only into Bitcoin, but into undiscovered, unloved altcoins, right? So to them, the bull market hasn't even started. They're just starting to put money to work in the space. So the people panic selling the lows are selling right into the arms of the biggest money on the planet. And again, altcoins. No one understands altcoins. The biggest money on the planet does understand altcoins. The mid-level Wall Street firms don't. And panic selling retail traders definitely don't if they are selling. Now, if you're watching this, you probably understand the revolutionary nature of these assets. So you're able to align yourself with the smartest money on the planet and potentially buy or hodl some of this revolutionary technology. We talk about the revolutionary nature of this technology all the time. We're going to talk about specific assets that have booming fundamentals and are growing exponentially later in the video.
I'm starting to err towards a longer cycle just because the business cycle is still below 50. So generally it takes a while to climb up. This may go even into Q2 2026. So it's like the whole cycle got shifted because rates didn't get adjusted and the dollar was sideways for a period of time. So it feels that potentially there is a chance, and again, there's no guarantees in this world, that we're more like 2020 than we are in 2021. It's spookily similar to 2017 for me.
So he's saying the bull market was postponed because of what I've been talking about. Interest rates have been high and strangling early stage assets, small businesses, the real estate market, growth technology for years, 3.5 years. They're still high. And so they've just been stifling altcoins growth. That has postponed the bull market. And what I talked about in my last video was that somewhere in July, somewhere in the summer, we're expected to get a change to regulation, the supplemental leverage ratio requirement. When that regulation changes, banks are able to unleash liquidity into the market. They're able to buy up a massive amount of US government debt. That pushes rates lower. That causes assets to pump. That's exactly what they did during the pandemic, the last bull market we got. So he's saying we're more like 2020, which was a weak market leading into, let's say, March. Then the government turned on the spigots. Then the government stimulated. That caused assets to pump. We haven't reached that point yet. But again, previous video with Raoul, we talked about around July being the moment when that regulation changes. And guess what? June 18, 2025, U.S. plans to ease capital rule limiting banks' treasury trades. U.S. bank regulators plan to reduce the enhanced supplemental leverage ratio by up to 1.5 percentage points for the biggest lenders, which could lower their capital requirements. So if their capital requirements are lowered, they're able to invest more and buy more government bonds. Again, Bloomberg starting to talk about what we've been talking about. This is the biggest deal on the planet when it comes to investing. So everyone who wants early stage assets to go up, small businesses to do well, the real estate industry to do well, wants interest rates to come down. Because again, the oxygen of the financial system. Who controls interest rates? For now, it's the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell is the Federal Reserve chairman. Here's what the President of the United States thinks about what Jerome Powell is doing. He almost sounds like an altcoin investor.
We're doing well and as a country. If the Fed would ever lower rates, would buy debt for a lot less. It's a shame. He's worried about inflation. I said, that's right. If there's inflation in 6 months or 9 months, you lower the rates or you raise the rates. You can do whatever you want, Brian, right? Probably won't cut today. Europe had 10 cuts and we had none. And I guess he's a political guy. I don't know. But he's costing the country a fortune. So what I'm going to do is, he gets out in about 9 months. He gets fortunately terminated. Biden, I would have never reappointed him. Biden reappointed him. I don't know why that is, but I guess maybe he was a Democrat. So we have no inflation. We have only success. And I'd like to see interest rates get down. Now, Biden did a lot of very short-term debt. So we have short-term debt coming due. And because of this guy's rates, if he'd lowered a point, I'd pay about a point less. Then if it lowered 2 points, I'd pay about 2 points less. And that's for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 5 years. It's hundreds of billions. It's even trillions of dollars that we're going to lose because of this too late. I call him Too Late Pal because he's always too late. Maybe I should go to the Fed. Am I allowed to appoint myself, Doug? I don't know. Am I allowed to appoint myself at the Fed? I do a much better job than these people. So anyway, we should be 2 points lower. It'd be nice to be 2.5 points lower. We'd be saving $800 billion, $700 billion. That's a lot of money. Right? Think of it for nothing, for absolutely nothing. We'd save $600, $700, $800 billion. We have, I think we're 38th now in interest, and we should be number one. But now we have a man that just refuses to lower the Fed rate, just refuses to do it. I don't even think he's that political. I think he hates me, but that's okay. He should. He should. I call him every name in the book, trying to get him to do something. I've been nice to him. I do it always. I don't know how to sell. I've been so nice to him, fellas, you wouldn't believe. Let's have dinner. Too late. I'd call him too late. Come on, too late. Let's have dinner. I do it every way in the book. I'm nasty. I'm nice. Nothing works. We're paying more rate, more interest than a lot of European nations that can't carry our suitcase. I'm going to be nice. There's another expression. You know what the other expression, can't carry your, you know what it is. But I shouldn't use it in front of the fake news. So it's very sad to see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go very short term, like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Wait till this guy gets out, get the rates way down, and then go long term.
So the most powerful person in the world goes on a rant that interest rates are too high. We've talked about in many videos on this channel how correlated interest rates are. It's almost a direct correlation to altcoin prices. If you watch previous videos, it's proven conclusively that that's the case. So altcoin investors want interest rates to come down. The most powerful person on the planet, the President of the United States, wants interest rates to come down. Why? Well, many reasons. Firstly, the United States has to refinance trillions of dollars of debt in 2025. Imagine trying to refinance your home mortgage right now or your car loan right now, and you got the loan originally 3 or 4 years ago. Well, the rates have doubled. So your interest expense is going to skyrocket. That's the problem the United States has right now. They can't refinance because interest rates are too high. So the United States is also suffering. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars more in interest if they refinance at rates today. Right, so the administration really wants rates to come down. Now, here's another reason, maybe not as important. Crypto is now Trump's second most lucrative source of income. So again, the most powerful person on the planet, his second most lucrative source of income comes from crypto, mainly altcoins. Altcoins are down because interest rates are high. The president of the United States wants interest rates to come down. So the crypto industry understands how important that is. So the entire world is desperate for interest rates to come down. It's what's kept altcoin prices suppressed like a balloon underwater. So what comes next? He's saying within 9 months, Jerome Powell is going to leave. What's going to happen is they're going to hire a replacement to Jerome Powell who's going to do what Trump wants. That replacement is going to crater interest rates down. So between now and 9 months is the longest the waiting period will be for a bull market. Now, could it take way sooner than 9 months? Absolutely. 9 months is the maximum. Jerome Powell, in 1 or 2 quarters, could come out and say, you know what, we've waited long enough, let's lower interest rates. That would obviously moon markets, but that is what we're waiting on. Raoul Pal agrees. The bull market has been postponed a bit. It's coming. The smartest money on the planet, the most powerful money on the planet is buying into crypto, right? So it's not like it's not coming. It's just a pure waiting game. Now, of course, everything's languishing now, but it's just a matter of time. It was never going to be as easy as thinking we're going to get that perfect 4-year cycle. That's way too easy. Markets are never easy. Too many people were banking on the 4-year cycle. Now the people that were banking on the 4-year cycle playing out perfectly are going to get washed out. Could be a few more months before life-changing returns come. And it's going to come to the most valuable assets on the planet. What are the most valuable assets on the planet? Well, the Genius Bill just passed. Donald Trump said the Senate just passed an incredible bill that is going to make America the undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. It is pure genius. Digital assets are the future, and our nation is going to own it. We are talking about massive investment and big innovation, and we are going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. Middle East sovereign wealth funds, the most powerful government, the United States government, is telling you it's the future, meaning these undiscovered altcoins are going to be discovered. And when they're discovered, a wall of capital moves in. That's what the Genius Bill is about. It's about enabling a wall of capital to move into this space. Chris Barrett, one of the leaders at Chainlink, says the Genius Act makes proof of reserve mandatory. Chainlink is the standard on chain. Literally, stablecoin providers are going to be required to prove on chain that they have the reserves backing their stablecoin that they say they have. Chainlink provides that service. It is by far the dominant player. We talked about how close Chainlink is with the US government. All these institutions are going to have to pay Chainlink to use their proof of reserve software. So here's the US Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent.
Because crypto, that seems to be a threat to the dollar, doesn't it?
I think it's the opposite.
Oh, really?
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins, it end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the U.S. dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact. So I think there's a very good chance that crypto is actually one of the things that locks in dollar supremacy.
And is that why it was crucial that Donald Trump get involved in crypto rather than trying to constrain it like Joe Biden was?
I think constrain's too mild a word. I think make it extinct.
Oh.
So this administration's commitment to digital assets, it's innovation, because there's so many other things that happen around digital assets. And also, it's one of the most important phenomena that's happening in the world, and the U.S. just ignored it.
So again, it's all about interest rates. That's the whole game. It's the cost of capital. It's the oxygen of the financial system. Stable coins, blockchain technology are a tool that the U.S. government is going to use to increased demand for US Treasuries because stablecoin providers are going to be buying massive amounts of US Treasuries. So bullish for lower interest rates, so bullish for the future of digital assets as trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars move on chain. Everything in the digital asset world that's somewhat high quality pumps in that environment. It absorbs that capital. Best opportunity we've ever seen. So let's talk about some assets that are totally undiscovered that are going to take advantage of this. Again, life-changing returns, that's what we're all about. It's happening. It's just a waiting game. JP Morgan's JPMD stablecoin is actually a deposit token on Base. We have the largest bank in the world literally launching a token on Coinbase's Base blockchain. What is a proxy for Coinbase's Base blockchain? AERODROME. It's the biggest decentralized exchange on Base. JP Morgan is bringing banking on chain. Connexus, but JP Morgan is launching JPMD, a USD deposit token for institutional clients on Base. AERODROME says slowly, then all at once. We've talked about how Connexus is using Chainlink's technology. Well, AERODROME, which is a liquidity provider on Base, absorbs a huge chunk of the liquidity that moves onto Base. We have the biggest bank in the world pumping liquidity onto Base. So June 2024 year to date, there was $9 billion of volume on AERODROME. So far, June 2025 year to date, there's $100 billion of volume on AERODROME. That's a 10x increase in fundamentals of the AERODROME asset. AERODROME earns fees from trading volume. Well, the trading volume on AERODROME 10x'd in 1 year. The market doesn't understand what's going on. This asset is going to make an absolute fortune as stablecoins rush on chain. And here's another asset we talk about all the time, the World Computer ICP, Solana and ICP. Solana is integrating with the Internet Computer Protocol, joining Bitcoin and Ethereum, enabling cross-chain smart contracts across all three blockchains. The big three are coming together on the world computer. So we talk about how the Internet Computer has the highest revenue per user of any blockchain because it's not only a blockchain, it doesn't just provide blockchain layer services, it provides decentralized compute, decentralized data storage. It provides full stack technology to users of the ICP blockchain. So it makes way more money per user because users are getting way more services. That's why in the last 365 days, the Internet Computer, with far less marketing than Avalanche or Polygon or Near has paid to boost their ecosystems, is making more money than those three blockchains. It's right behind Telegram's massive blockchain ton. It made $14 million. So that's where the Internet Computer ranks. It's one of the highest quality blockchains on the planet. It's now going to be connecting Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin with its chain key compute. Not only is it a layer 1 blockchain, it's also a layer 2 blockchain that allows users to access these native tokens, Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, all while using the decentralized ICP super cloud. So is ICP attracting total value locked from these assets? Here's the trend of the amount of Bitcoin value that's moved onto ICP. We've cracked 300 Bitcoin. We just hit an all-time high. That's 300 Bitcoin moving, being absorbed by the ICP blockchain. That's value moving to the ICP ecosystem. That is a rock solid uptrend. Here's Ethereum. Over 1,000 Ethereum have moved onto the world computer. Again, value moving onto the world computer. Now Solana is going to be another blockchain that's going to move value onto the world computer. So these are assets that the majority of the world knows nothing about. But we have, again, the smartest money on the planet investing in altcoins. We have the most powerful people in the world investing in altcoins. We have retail traders panic selling altcoins, but that happens all the time. If we can see the future, we know what to invest in. We know which assets are going to benefit from exponential megatrends, and we can invest in those assets. The maximum window we have to wait between 1 and 9 months. So while we're waiting, we can earn unbelievable passive income, stack more assets, compound our net worth, and get ready for what could be one of the biggest bull markets we have ever seen.